So, this video is to talk about meal planning because I know how much people get their 21 Day Fix, whole package in the mail. And then you look at it and you're like, I don't know, what do I do? Okay, I do these workouts, and here's the, schedule for when to work out when, or like which workout to do when. But the meal planning people sometimes get really overwhelmed very quickly, and it's not confusing actually. So, kind of to give you a little take a deep breath. Here we go together. You're not alone. But the idea behind the meal plan is not that me as your coach or another coach or a random Google search on the internet is going to give you what you're supposed to eat when, exactly the recipe, the ingredient, the whole thing, because that's something that maybe you do for a week, but you are not going to stick to for a long haul because, if someone else is telling you what to do, it's not maybe your favorite recipe or your favorite even type of food. And it also could be not your level of cooking that you like to do every night, or it doesn't work in your schedule. So the idea behind this meal plan is that you are able to learn how to kind of plan out yourself, and then you get to create it to fit your lifestyle and your taste buds and your family, or your cooking levels, or what you look for. And that way you can literally could do this forever if you wanted to. There's no, oh, here's this 21 days and then that's it. You could keep eating this way for the rest of your life if it's what works for you. So, how I like to look at it is first you look at the chart that they do, the math part, about creating which number of containers that fits your calorie levels. So it's about how much weight you're wanting to lose, what pounds you are now, and then kind of doing the math to be able to fit which number of containers then fits your category. Okay, so once you have your number of containers per day, I think the easiest way, but again, once you try it, then you might find a different way that works better for you. But I think the easiest way is to then split the number of containers that you need in the day into how many containers per meal. So how many of each different color you're going to have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then your two snacks, or one snack depending on your kind of preference. I think this way works that then instead of feeling like at the end of the day, oh God, and the whole time you're thinking about how many containers you've eaten so far in the day, you're thinking about each meal in a smaller kind of portion. So instead it's, I need one red and one yellow for this meal. I need one green and two red for this meal, whatever that is. And then it can become easier to kind of come up with ideas, fill the meal plan in a faster format. So an easy way kind of to think about this would be if you had your 4 reds, that you would have one of your reds for your breakfast, one for your lunch, one for your dinner, and one for one of your snacks. And that way, then what can go in those different reds is that entire list of what is in a red container. So then you fill out on your form, which I'll put one up. But it would be like, so for breakfast is a red. So then you go to your list of reds and you say, well, what do I want for Monday? Yogurt, cottage cheese, eggs. You could even have turkey if you want, it's up to you. But that way you're going, I just need one of those to be filled then. Fill out your breakfasts kind of to give yourself an idea. Here are the things I could have for breakfast. So when you go grocery shopping, you can either literally pick, I'm going to have this for breakfast on Monday, this for breakfast on Tuesday, this for breakfast on Wednesday, the whole thing. Or else you could say, I'm going to have one red for breakfast. And I'm going to buy a few different things. I'm going to buy cottage cheese, I'm going to buy yogurt, and I'm going to, buy eggs. And then as the week's going on, you wake up and you say, well, I'm in the mood for eggs this morning. I'm in the mood for yogurt. And because it's just that that that's the amount you're supposed to have and that's applies to it, it can sometimes be easier than actually having it be where like every single day is exactly what it is. Other people, on the other hand, really like to have it be like, here's exactly what I'm eating every single day for the whole week. And even to the extreme of some people enjoy making that all on Sunday. So they literally have in their fridge every single meal made for their entire week. If that works for you, go for it. Plan it out, make every meal, have it ready. If you'd rather have a little more flexibility that stresses you out, like, oh my God, I can't cook that much on Sunday, then instead just have it where you have those things available and you know what you're supposed to be eating during each meal. So one red, one yellow for this meal. What do I have in the fridge that fits there? What did I buy? I like to do something a little in between. So I have somewhat of a plan. So I know for breakfast, I'm going to have either, my shake or eggs or yogurt. And I have all those things in the fridge. And those are my only 3 options though. I didn't buy the entire list of reds. And now I will fit one of those. I'll pick that morning. I like to have where my dinners become my leftovers for my lunch. That's my personal preference again because of cooking, and I'm not a big deli meat person. It's just not my favorite thing. So I prefer that to be my leftovers. So I try to make so that way the containers for my lunch and the containers for my dinner are the same number of containers. So 1 green, 1 yellow, 1 red, something like that. So once you've kind of split up for each meal what's allocated, then if you're going to plan it out, you sit down, breakfast is this many, lunch is this many, dinner is this many, okay? Then you go, okay, Monday, and literally look at the number. Okay, I need 1 red, 1 yellow. And then go look at the list of all the options for reds and pick one. I really like this, blah, blah, blah. I really like chicken. Let's have chicken that night. I really like steak. Let's have steak that night. I really like, whatever. And then you pick one, put it in there. 1 yellow. Okay, look at the whole list of yellows. I really like, a waffle. So whatever fits on there, you can put as your meal if that's for there. And the same for greens. Oh, green beans are my favorite. So you don't have to eat anything that you don't like. You pick the one that fits your life or sounds good in that meal. And I think it can get that easy. You don't have to be making specific recipes of crazy lasagnas or fancy Alfredos or any of that. It can literally be one thing from the red list, one thing from the green list, one thing from the yellow list, a purple as your snack. You can go as simple as possible. And that can be really, I think, an easier way than trying to get all into where you're trying to have this full meal plan and a whole 9 yards of cooking for hours. So there's a little help. I'm going to put up a picture of that so in case it kind of helps to see what I'm talking about in a visual format as well. And then I wanted to comment on my meal plan. As you saw, I like to have floaters, I call them. So as I was saying of where I decide, here's my red for each meal, here's my green for each meal. But often my purple and my teaspoon, as well as my blue or orange container, can be where I want them as different types of things, because that's your peanut butter, your dressing, your cheese on top of things. It's these small little gifts that maybe fit certain meals that you don't need to have it where every single night your dinner has your blue, because maybe you want hummus as one of your things instead of cheese, or maybe it fits that it could move around a little more. And I feel the same way about one of my purples, because I sometimes like where it's literally a purple full of some delicious fruit. For me, that's often berries, raspberries or strawberries as my dessert, because the sweet tooth at the end of the night is hard for me. So to have where I go, oh, I get this little bite of delicious sweetness before I go to bed it's a nice treat. Or the same with my breakfast. If suddenly I'm like, oh, I want a little of that deliciousness, and yet I like that can move around, because then it can also be like my tomato sauce or different things that are where they're a little sweeter, so they count as that purple. So that's another kind of option as well. If that works, to be able to have that be floating for you, and you could do that with as many as you'd like. I only need those few, and then I like the other ones kind of to be stabilized so I don't get confused again. I know, I try to make it simple. Okay, so last but definitely not least is 2 things. 1, please let me know, or if you're seeing this and I'm not your coach, let your coach know that you want some help. Say, can you walk me through it one more time? Can we do a meal plan together? Any of that for sure. The coach is not there to create the meal plan, because that's not something you'll be able to stick to. And instead they're there to help you create the meal plan so that way you'll be able to do it again and again. It'll be something that fits you and your family, all of that. But I know, at least myself and most of the coaches I know, all would much rather help you do that than have you feel lost, confused, give up, any of that. So please reach out. And then, second, is that one other thing that kind of maybe makes it a little different is there are some ridiculously fun recipes out there. And so sometimes I'll find a recipe that I really want to try, or one that I have already tried a billion times and I want a part of my week. And it has a certain, it's, you know, again, certain number of containers, one red, two green, whatever, that is that recipe. That if I know I'm going to have that as my Wednesday night dinner or my Thursday lunch, that I will then put that in as I'm planning and kind of work around it for that day. Instead of having where I was saying before that you're just filling those containers with something off of the list. That would be the only time I kind of tweak maybe it a different, to have something be where that Wednesday night my dinner is not the same number of containers than my Tuesday night dinner and my Thursday, etc. I hope that helps and isn't too confusing, and hopefully the visuals help a little more too. And please, again, reach out, talk to us. We'd love to go through it. And as you do it more and more, it'll become easier and easier. And the thing that is like the epitome of all of it is that it's not supposed to be so complicated. So literally just pick the things you like. You don't need to be cooking for an hour. You don't need to cook it all ahead of time. It's that many simple ingredients on there. So pick the random vegetable that you'll eat. You don't have to eat every one off the list. Or frozen waffles and peanut butter on top, or something that sounds delicious to you, then have that as your breakfast every morning. You don't have to be making egg cups and elaborate whole things. So simplify so you can stick to it instead of making it so that way it's hard and you want to give up from week 1. You're awesome. Good luck. Talk to us if you need help.